So America's founding fathers wanted to restrain the power of government and establish a system of checks and balances. Did they fail? Has the Constitution changed? Has the First Amendment been suspended? By the way some people are acting, you might think so. Author, veteran, and Pennsylvania congressional candidate Kathy Barnett stated, quote, "If people can go to Home Depot, Walmart, grocery stores, liquor stores, marijuana stores, pet stores, and abortion centers and not get contaminated, then they can go to work and church and not get contaminated." I tend to agree, and I never thought I'd live to see the day when a majority of U.S. citizens are willingly surrendering their way of life. Should hundreds of millions remain on lockdown when many parts of the country are nearly unaffected by the coronavirus? Now, some power-hungry governors are taking it a step further, and that's next. I'm David Fiorazo, and this is Christ and Culture. As bad as New York City is, most of the country is not experiencing that kind of the spread of the virus. For these states or regions, the number of cases and deaths are dramatically lower than even the common flu and other illnesses. Now, one commentator said that for all practical purposes, tens of millions of healthy Americans are under house arrest. Though the fear-mongering media is stoking the flames for political purposes, COVID-19 is a serious threat. Blown out of proportion at times, yes, but one of the problems is the government's newfound power to label some things as essential and others non-essential. More on this in a minute. Steve McCann at American Thinker asks a great question. Is the coronavirus pandemic serious enough to warrant putting much of the nation's population into house imprisonment, or wrecking the economy for an indefinite period of time, or prohibiting worshipers from attending their churches, synagogues, or mosques, or outlawing freedom of assembly and travel, or destroying businesses that have taken years to build up? Well, now we know that the sick and the elderly and most vulnerable should be protected. But governors are deciding whose livelihoods and businesses are essential and whose are not. Now, I know we are to submit to governing authorities, but what about when they say you can't go to work or church, and for how long? Now, these are things many people struggle with. I have friends on both sides of this debate. A few weeks ago, we talked about the problem with businesses such as abortion providers labeled as, quote, essential. Why does Planned Parenthood get a pass? We still are asking that question. Now, an executive order by Michigan's power-hungry governor, Gretchen Whitmer, provides exceptions for individuals who walk, hike, run, or cycle on public sidewalks throughout the state of Michigan. But the order punishes citizens for using the very same public sidewalks if they happen to be outside of an abortion business. Christian author and speaker David Benham was arrested, for example, outside an abortion clinic in North Carolina, even though he was following social distancing guidelines. Churches are being bullied, some pastors fined, citizens given citations for attending worship services in parking lots in their cars. Now, fortunately, there's good news. We have a Department of Justice that is concerned about Christians, and they plan to take action this week to limit the power of governors. Attorney General William Barr said he's very concerned when government encroaches on religious liberty. And over the weekend, the Department of Justice Director of Communications, Carrie Kupek, tweeted this, quote, "During this sacred week for many Americans, AG Barr is monitoring government regulation of religious services. While social distancing policies are appropriate during this emergency, they must be applied even-handedly and not single out religious organizations." Expect action from the DOJ this week. So that's a good thing. Now, we know the left will never let a serious crisis go to waste. They'll use as much of this as they can to restructure things to fit their progressive worldview and agenda. The collective hysteria produced by complicit media may be more contagious than the coronavirus itself. But keep the faith, friends. This too shall pass, and let's help make America rational again. Let's be part of the solution to some of this chaos, fear, despair, and hopelessness. Get us back to work little by little, depending on your part of the country. Love your neighbors. If you're able to, give a little more. I'm talking about finances or whatever else, just to show them you care, and share the gospel of Jesus Christ, our living God. We just celebrated that great news over Resurrection Weekend. Now there's more good news. People at this time are looking like never before for answers. They're praying. They're turning to God. This is a good thing. The Bible, is the best-selling book of all time. But now, in the face of this pandemic, Christian publishers say there's a massive spike in sales of the Bible. Good. Hopefully, people are not only buying it, but they're opening it up and reading its pages as well. And that goes for us. We need to read it and know it and apply it. God bless you, and keep speaking the truth about things that matter.